Hi, my name is Maddie Mahoney, and this is my diplomat application. The first question is, in your own words, how do you define your LD/ADHD? Well, I have ADHD and a reading processing disorder. I'd probably define my ADHD as disorganized and impulsive, but one of the upsides to having ADHD is that you're very creative, and even though you're crazy, I think it makes you fun. But my LD is a reading processing disorder. I would probably describe a reading processing disorder as kind of forgetting what you read. A lot of people think a reading processing disorder is dyslexia or something like that, but I know what the words are saying right away, but I can't comprehend them right away. It takes me multiple times rereading the same line to understand what I just read. One of the ways that I get over this is having someone read aloud to me or listening to it. Sometimes I try to read out loud to myself, but that doesn't work all the time. How do I define success? I define success as working hard. I define success as doing something that you never thought you could, or something that no one else thought you could. For example, getting to college. I go to college 3 hours away from my hometown when all the special ed kids go to community college, which there's nothing bad with community college, but no one told me that I'd be able to be here. And now I'm here. Telling my story. So, my story starts with getting diagnosed in 3rd grade with ADHD. I don't really remember getting diagnosed. All I remember is kind of going to see doctors and therapists and reading passages to them and doing activities like drawing and coloring pictures and playing with blocks. They asked me a lot of, who do you hang out with and what do you do during your free time? And didn't really have a lot of friends, and I kind of sat outside and played with rocks and mud and imaginary dogs. But I was bullied a lot in elementary school because of it. I remember I got into a lot of trouble because of my ADHD. ADHD kind of was my excuse in elementary school. I remember it always coming up in parent-teacher conferences and principal conferences and with friends' parents because I just got into stuff that I wasn't supposed to. So I kind of leaned on it as that's why I was a naughty child. And it was kind of what was expected of an ADHD kid, so I just went along with it. But I got bullied a lot because of it. I remember girls laughed at me a lot, and when one girl, I remember getting pushed off of a playground platform, like a tower kind of, where a slide comes off of. And I sprained my ankle because I was the weird kid. No one really liked me. I didn't really go back to school right away. I hated school after that. But after that instance, getting pushed off of a 12-foot tall tower, I realized that my ADHD made me weird. And I realized that's why I didn't have any friends, and that's why everyone kind of laughed when I did something that I guess was out of the ordinary. I never really realized what I was doing was out of the ordinary. Growing up through middle school, I kind of embraced it, and I learned how to be quiet. Well, kind of learned how to not talk to people because I knew they would just laugh at me for doing things. I also remember in high school, I was diagnosed sophomore year with a reading processing disorder. That was a big time in my life because second semester freshman year, I was diagnosed with hydrocephalus, which was caused by arachnoid cyst, causing a midline shift in my brain. And then hydrocephalus is where you have a lot of fluid surrounding your brain, and it pushed my brain all the way to this side of my head and the corner of my skull. And that was a time where accommodations really taught me metacognition. I I remember one day I didn't understand what was going on the page. I would read and then it wouldn't click, and someone asked me what I just read on. I had no clue. And they thought it was my ADHD, they thought it was my memory loss, but I had a processing disorder. And then high school became a huge struggle for me, not just trying to fit in and not just trying to pass AP courses. I only took one AP course because I was too afraid, but I had to relearn a lot in high school. I felt kind of like kids with learning disabilities are diagnosed younger, and that kind of gives them that time to figure out through elementary school and middle school how they learn. And I did that in 3.5 to 4 years throughout high school, because what I had learned in elementary school and middle school and how I learned all flips in a matter of 2 months. And then sophomore year, I started struggling. I struggled a lot throughout high school, and that's kind of when I was told, you can go to the tech and it'll be fine. And I got my grit there. I pushed through that. I said, there's no way in heck I'm going to the tech. I'm moving out. I'm going somewhere where I can become a special ed teacher and be a better SPED teacher than some of the teachers that I had, because it's really hard for people to understand a disability that they can't see. Because I was diagnosed so late because of a TBI, a lot of people doubted me, and that kind of gave me more of a grit and pushed me more. I think if I had one LD wish in middle school and in elementary school, it would be a secret way to tell who was one of you, if you will. I always wondered if I was like anyone else. I always felt like I was alone, especially in high school. My mom really pushed for me to get accommodations, and so I was put even more into the special ed program. And so they were all kids that had been in there before. None of them were like my friends. So I guess I always wondered who has a reading processing disorder, who has ADHD. And that's kind of what Eye to Eye is to me. I think that I'm kind of helping like my past self when I am when I'm mentoring my mentees. I love it, because Eye to Eye is that secret community. We're like a secret society, and I feel like that just empowers people, and it's something I'm extremely passionate about. I kind of get the chills when I get worked up about talking about it, because all I want to do is tell these kids that you have the grit, you have the push to do whatever any normal person, quote unquote normal person, can do. And that when I discovered Eye to Eye, when I came to Eau Claire, I was beyond grateful for it. I remember meeting with my first mentee, and she was so down about herself because she wasn't diagnosed. And I just remember, I was you in middle school. I didn't want to talk about this, and now showing these kids that that's okay is a whole nother world. And I would have given anything in middle school to have that. And I'm so grateful to be giving that to these kids. But yeah, I think that's what makes Eye to Eye special, and what gives Eye to Eye that special place in my heart, because I would have given anything to have that. So, thank you again for listening. Bye.